Hey everyone, how are you? So I got word that you missed the Q&As, and actually I missed the Q&As, and they're actually my favorite. So here we are today. We've got Q&A. So here are your questions. A lot of interesting questions, a lot about like doubles. Will I play doubles? So stay tuned for the answers. Will I play doubles? Will I play Wimbledon? What's my next tournament? Are you single? Come on, you're getting personal, but I guess this is personal. It's my own YouTube channel where I share my life with you. Thank you guys for all your support and love. And here we go with the questions. All right, running workouts for more stamina in a match. So two things. Tennis is a sport where we sprint, right? And it's also a sport where you need endurance. So I'd recommend doing some things like a mile run or a mile bike. Try to time yourself and see if you can get that time better over time for that longer endurance. And then also things like sprints are important too. So on the court, you can do a little bit of running and time yourself. So you can start with 30 seconds and then 30 seconds off. So that way you can train yourself to do those kinds of sprint things that are happening in tennis. And those little tiny steps that look easy are exhausting. So those are a couple of drills that you can use, work your way up, and let me know how it goes. Yeah, so a museum exhibit of some of my coolest dresses. I think we have to add Serena in that because she's had some amazing dresses too. I know you love the goddess dress for sure. We have to do that. I feel like I want a Wimbledon in that one. I think so. So yeah, that's kind of always secretly been my dream. One day it has to happen. One thing I do for self-care that no one would guess, for me, alone time. I need some time alone, especially in the day. Every day is very crazy for me. So at the end of the day, I need that time to just like chill and reset myself for the next day. I love movies, and then I end up watching the ones that I've watched. I watch the same stuff over and over again. I think it's because I'm also doing something else at the same time, but it's very relaxing for me. Okay, Breakpoint on Netflix. Did you guys watch that? Of course, I watched it as soon as it came out. What did I think? I thought that it was nice stories, not like super explosive or anything, and quiet as it's kept. I love gossip, and I, do like a little reality. So I thought it was quite calm, and, is it good or bad that I was hoping for like some really intense situations? That's what I've been trained to expect from reality TV. It's not my fault. Outfit and hair for the first match back. That's gonna be, well, yeah, here it is. Tell me what you think. It was really hard to choose because I haven't played all year, so I had like 6 months of outfits to choose from, and this was my favorite one. Just diagnosed with sjogrens. Wow, I'm, of course, not something I wished for you or for myself. I hope you're feeling okay. In the beginning, it's challenging because it's all new. You're like, what is happening? So it's not that easy to navigate it in the beginning. I don't know what your symptoms are. Unfortunately, autoimmune diseases can have so many symptoms. The hallmark symptoms for Sjogren's are dry eyes and dry mouth. And that can be really, really bad if your eyes are so dry that you can't function, or your mouth is so dry that I don't even want to mention the consequences. So it also can come with organ involvement, higher occurrence of cancers, especially like a lymphoma, joint pain, debilitating fatigue. Like it unfortunately comes with friends that you don't want. So I don't know what your symptoms are. I hope that you're getting the care that you need. Find out what medicines work for you. It's going to be trial and error. Some really simple things that you can do right off the bat. Make sure you get enough sleep. Find out what your limit is. Once you're living with an autoimmune disease, you've got to find out what your limit is. If you push past that, you can really start to crash. So you've got to create new limits for yourself. You can still achieve the same things, but you're going to have to do it in a way that you can sustain. Also, you can have autoimmune anemia, and that's just from chronic inflammation. So check on that, because if you have low energy, that can also be an issue. So you want to talk to your doctor to find a way to deal with that. So without knowing your symptoms, I'm just guessing here. And drink a lot of water, get a lot of sleep, and I hope that you feel better. Okay, will I come to the Guadalajara Open? The short answer is I absolutely want to go. The other answer is that there's altitude there, and not my favorite thing to play in altitude. So I'm gonna have to ask the other players, what was it like to play there? I love Mexico. Hopefully I'll be invited to play. So stay tuned, we'll see what happens. Well, I played mixed doubles with Opelka in the US Open. It's a long way away. It'd be 2 big serves, and that'd be a lot of fun, but I think Riley should focus on the singles, and I'm actually retired in doubles. I keep saying it, and no one believes me, but I've seen the mountaintop. I've played with the best. I've played with Serena. It doesn't get much better than that. And as much as I'd love to play with lots of people, including one of my friends, Riley, I think I've done it all in doubles. Yeah, so I have one little guy. His name's Harold. He's 16, and he's the boss. He really is. He's short, and he's usually sweet, and I travel with him as much as I can, because when I don't, I forget that he's not there. So he's like part of the team. Yeah, so I get a lot of questions about, are you married? Are you single? Some of these things it's possible to Google, but this one you cannot. And yes, I like people from overseas. I like all people, American, not American, there is no limit. Okay, will I be in Queens this year? No, because it's a men's tournament. They haven't brought the women there yet. Not easy to buy a tournament sanction to bring it somewhere, so maybe one day. But they've got like a cool history of tennis, so go watch the men. Come on, watch the women in Birmingham or Nottingham or Wimbledon. Yeah, how do you juggle your life? Your life is about what you believe in. So for me, my beliefs always come first, and that guides me in my life, helps me make the right decisions. And when I get off of that, then it's a little more challenging. So it's easy when you believe in something and it makes you happy and you see it have a positive effect in your life. And for me, as a Christian, as Jehovah's Witness, it has had a huge positive effect, and honestly, I credit it for all my success. So it's not that hard. Everybody has moments where I'm not perfect, for sure, I make mistakes, but then I get right back up and get started again after that mistake. Okay, discipline. This is a good one. Discipline is actually freedom. When you are disciplined, you do the things that you know you should do, the things that will get you to where you want to be, you get the things that you want. Discipline is freedom. The same amount of time that you're spending being undisciplined is absolutely the same amount of time that you could spend being disciplined and getting everything that you want in your life. And when you get that discipline, you start to get used to it. You start to get used to that lifestyle, and when you get out of that lifestyle, you actually feel anxiety that you are not being disciplined. So give it a try. Remember, everything is not always going to be easy, and enjoy that challenge. Enjoy the challenge. It's the best part of life. What type of artworks speak to me? So I think I've always been really into modern art. So to define modern art, that's kind of that period of Impressionism in late 1800s all the way through, early 1900s, and all the way through, let's say, 1880 to 1940. So you had all these amazing artists, Matisse, Picasso, you name it. Amazing movements that started out with, for the most part, Impressionism. So I was obsessed with modern art for so long. And now I'm kind of like more about contemporary. So when I go to museums to see stuff, I really want to see more contemporary things. And I get really excited to see things artists that I love that I've only seen like on the internet, and you finally get to see something in person. And then also introduced to new artists. I'm always learning. It's a long learning curve. It's lots to learn. That's the best part. I love like absorbing it, being around it. So that's tough. The people we love, it's wonderful to be next to them. So a few things I recommend. Get on that Zoom, get on the phone, all those fun things. Have a group chat with your friends. And the next part is that there are wonderful people in this world. Start to reach out and meet people where you are. Take that opportunity to continue to work on your life. Those people aren't going to come knock on your door and say, hey, we've heard you're lonely. And it's not always easy to put yourself out there, but it's really worth it. It's really worth it. And hopefully your friends can come visit you and you can go visit them. Favorite art piece I've seen recently is probably an Alexander Calder painting. He's really obviously famous for his mobiles and his metal work. But his paintings, I think, are really, really special. And I'm really obsessed with his work on canvas. Okay, baby name recommendations for Serena. So we don't know yet if it's a boy or a girl. So we'll all find out at the gender reveal. But I think that whether it's a boy or a girl, it should be named Venus. They probably don't agree. Best way to stay consistent with fitness is to realize you don't have to be perfect. There will be some days where you're like, I'm over it, not going. But that cannot be every day. If you're consistent with being over it, then you will not be consistent with your fitness. Now, there's another rule that I call the 72-hour rule. After 72 hours, your muscles are going to start to atrophy. You know, that means that you're going to start to lose muscle mass. So if you can do something every 72 hours, then you are going to still be able to get those gains. You're still going to be able to maintain your fitness. And if you can do more often than every 72 hours, amazing. But what's important is that you continue to move your body. Keep moving your body. It is so good for you. It's so good for your heart. It's so good for your mind. It's so good for aging. I don't know how old you are, but the more you move your body and the more you stay strong, it's so important. Did you know that building muscle actually helps you to keep your bones strong and to maintain your bone mass throughout your life? So moving your body, crucial, crucial, crucial. I encourage you to take care of yourself. There's only one you, so take care of you. How about overcome anxiety, self-doubt in my game? What you realize is that much like life, tennis is up and down. You are going to have self-doubt. You are going to have anxiety. You are going to have bad days. You cannot find a way to get through that. Now, you can probably have less of those if you have like good technique, things like that, but just accept, hey, this is going to happen. But how am I going to deal with those moments? So are you going to step up and face them and actually enjoy that challenge? Or are you going to back away and not enjoy them and allow that challenge to overcome you? So it's about how you deal with those challenges. And you can absolutely choose how you deal with it. And then once you come through those, it will give you more skills for the next one. It'll start to be a lot easier to get through that. Okay, so yes, I did meet Phylicia. She's amazing. But I'm not sure, and Lisa Bonet is also incredible. But I'm not sure what the correlation is outside of the Cosby Show, which has amazing reruns that you can catch. But explain. If my name was a planet other than Venus, I think that's the best name. Is there another planet that sounds cool? Mars is like out there. Pluto, just like, wasn't that a dog? That was Goofy's dog. I don't know why a dog had a dog, but hey, don't want to delve into those deep thoughts. Jupiter, that would be intense too. I just don't think there's a better name than Venus, to be honest, and definitely not Uranus. Navigating school and tennis, I was a nerd. I admit it. I was a nerd. I loved school. I didn't want to leave school. Even when I got out of high school, I was like, I wish I was still there. So that made it easier for me. But the most important part is that you do not know what your future is. And since you do not know that, you have to have a backup plan. So if I had not finished school, then let's say I broke my leg, or let's say I just started to hate tennis, or let's say there was a war in my country and I couldn't play. Anything could happen, okay? So that's why you have to have something in your head, because if you don't have anything in your head, then you have nothing at all. So being a well-rounded person is so important. You want to be able to stay in conversations. If you get into conversations and you do not know what people are talking about because you have not studied your history, you have not studied your arts, either A, you're going to have to be quiet, or B, you're going to have to sound like a fool. So you choose. Yeah, how am I doing? I'm good. Hamstring, I have recovered. I have put in a lot of work. It was hard. It was really, really, really difficult. It was one of my toughest rehabs, or if not the toughest rehab that I have done. And, also gaining confidence back in my hamstring was tough too, because to believe that it wouldn't tear again, or to believe that I can run and that nothing will happen. Of course, like as people, we typically want to protect ourselves. So I want to protect myself. I want to protect my hamstring. I don't want to go through that rehab again. But at some point, you realize, oh yeah, maybe I can do this. So, of course, it's still in the back of my head because it was a pretty intense injury. But I gotta try. I gotta let it go. So I gotta like go for it. My method for dealing with jet lag is actually pretty foolproof. So when I land, usually most places you land during the day. So I go to the hotel, I take a 2-hour nap. Then I go practice for about an hour, then I go to the gym for about an hour or two. And by this time, it's probably like around 5 or 6 o'clock. So then after that, take a shower. You have to take a shower after you work out. Important. And then I go to dinner, and all these activities help me to stay up. Usually my goal is 10 p.m. So, or 9 o'clock, but usually 10 o'clock. And once 10 o'clock hits, then I am allowed to go to sleep. I am not allowed to go to sleep before that. So that 2-hour nap, I set an alarm, and then I know I have to practice. So give yourself something you know you have to do, like a tour or something like that you know you have to get up for. So you have a goal to get up, so you don't just say, oh, I'm going to sleep. And then if you feel the urge to wake up at night, do not open your eyes. Close your eyes and go back to sleep. Don't even bother opening them. Keep those eyes closed, and you fight and you go back to sleep. And that's what I do, and it really works. If you cannot do that, a couple of things that I really love are CBD supplements, like Beam, also Dream the Night Away by Sutra. That really makes you sleepy. So a couple of things that I love that we'll put down in the question box. Would I be open to becoming a tennis coach or mentor in the future? Yes, I do not want to be a full-time tennis coach because I've spent so much time on tennis that it's really important to explore other things in life. But I would love to give advice to anyone who wants it and spend some time on the court with like young people. And I actually love spending time on the court with beginners. Okay, so once you start losing match tiebreakers, it can start to get in your head. So what's important in a match tiebreaker? First serve in. So that way, if you're a little nervous or a little tight, you're not worried about hitting a second serve. So pick your favorite spot. If it's a forehand, just serve to the forehand. A nice big target like the body. Super important. So that way you can take the pressure off of having to hit that second serve. Also, figure out what your favorite shots and what your patterns are. Nice big targets. But what's also important in the tiebreaker is you still have to be aggressive, but it can be measured aggression. And also 1 point at a time. Don't think about the future, don't think about the past. Just think about that 1 point. And you say, I just want this point. And then when you get to the next one, I just want that point. And it's 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, and then you get to the end and hopefully you've won it. So yeah, the best smell to me is like when you mix and you're making like onions on the oven, you're like cutting onions up and cutting up garlic and all these things, you can just smell it. And it makes my whole house smell like fragrant, like a fairy tale. And then I make a lot of like broth. So I make it and then I freeze it. So that way whenever I want it, it's already there because I don't really like to use bouillon cubes. I still use those, but I like to have a base of like what I've already made. And that smell is fantastic and it's in the house the whole day. But other than that, like, I don't know, pastries, I love that smell. I want to make a pie, but if I make the pie, I'll eat the pie, so I'm worried. You struggle playing on clay. You do not have to struggle. If you cannot slide, work on your slide. Okay, so the important part of sliding is hopefully you're sliding into the ball and not after you hit, because that will really be tough. And you want to put your weight on that outside foot. So put that weight on that outside foot so you can really get that slide. You don't want it distributed evenly, okay? And if you're not comfortable with sliding, just don't do it. You don't have to slide. And honestly, slide only when you have to, because sliding puts you in a bit more defensive position. You want your feet to be under you so you can like move forward with the ball. So important. There's a lot of players who have won the French Open that were big hitters. Serena, she won a few. Maria Sharapova, Mary Pierce, There are a lot of big players, Ostapenko, that have won the French Open because you can use your power. Power is a commodity. Not everyone has it, and the people who don't have it want it. Best way to manage joint pain and inflammation. So first of all, work on your diet. There are foods that are sadly inflammatory, and they're the most fun ones. Sugar, alcohol, a lot of meat. I'm sorry, I know. And then drinking a lot of water is really, really helpful for keeping down your inflammation. And sleep also helps too. Lots of vegetables, fruit and vegetables, keeps that inflammation down. And this is a tough one too, and I'm sorry for saying this already, but cutting out the gluten really, really, really helps with joint pain. It's gonna take about 6 to 8 weeks, but you're gonna wake up one day and you'll be like, I feel good. And that in itself is super motivating. All right, now it's time to wrap it up. There are so many great questions. It's hard to get to all of them, but this is actually my favorite, so we're gonna do more Q&A because y'all love it, I love it, and you asked for it. Love seeing you guys here. Remember, subscribe, like if you like it. Tell me what you want to see. I love hearing from you guys, and I'll see you soon.